When you first look into the D Rose story, it actually does feel like a book that you're reading that has constant twists and turns. You would think that this would be a book about a legendary player that was in the GOAT conversation, but his peak barely lasted even 5 years at that. This is a story of a player that had seemingly conquered the mountaintops so early in his career, but had it fall apart so badly that even the media started turning on him, and not just that, but his body also started doing the same. This is the story, or rather the book, of D Rose. Well, first I'll have to talk about his upbringing and how things were when he was a kid. And the nickname that many people refer to him as Pooh, well, he got that from when he was a kid, a little baby actually, and his skin was so yellow that his grandma referred to him as Pooh Bear. And then obviously that got shortened to Pooh. Let's just say the neighborhood he was growing up in was pretty rough.
7305 South Paulina, this is where we grew up at. It's not about living in Englewood, it's about surviving in Englewood.
A place rife with poverty, a place rife with crime and drug use. It's just one of those places you wouldn't want your child to grow up in. Now, Derrick Rose, fortunate for him, had a great support system. He had his older brothers look out for him. You had Reggie Rose, and then you got Dwayne as well. He had another brother that was in too deep.
That's part of life I don't want to talk about. It ain't something that I'm not proud about. It was a very dark place. You had to do what you had to do.
Despite it being all around him, his brothers did a great job sheltering him from all that nonsense.
You're going to go to school, you're going to go to school, you're going to play some type of sports. Because we just all figured that, you know, sports at that point in time was going to be his only way out.
And boy, was Derrick good at basketball. There was one park that Derrick Rose would often go to, and it's Murray Park. And obviously, that's the one park where he was also getting shielded from a lot of the stuff that would happen there. It was the one park he'd go to that he would know that, you know, he wouldn't be involved in trouble, right? If he had gone to another park, he'd probably get jumped, he says. And even that park, people were calling it Murder Park because of all the troubles that were happening there.
I know growing up in Chicago that there used to be a code amongst gang members that ballers got a pass, and they even call it the baller pass.
They saw something special in D Rose and wanted to make sure he was out of trouble, as there have been kids in the past who had gotten shot but had so much potential, and they didn't want to see another one having that potential go to waste.
Have you ever heard of Benji Wilson? He was a player that got killed in my school at the time. He was the #1 player in the nation. He went to Nike camp, ended up coming back, probably gang banging, allegedly, and ended up like getting shot.
Derrick Rose will recount how back then he got given the book as a freshman about this whole incident, obviously to learn from it. And what they would do is that number 25, they would give it to the best player of the school to wear it. And obviously that one best player would be Derrick Rose.
The best player at Simeon wore number 25 because of Benji. He wore number 25.
He's going one-on-one. From off the floor, Derrick Rose with the bucket.
One of the last Simeon players to wear Benji's number 25 was Derrick Rose.
He was the last player to wear 25 because obviously recently after that, they had retired the number for good. He led his high school to back-to-back state champions. In 2006, he hits this game winner to win his first one. And of course, in 2007, it was domination. They had won it for the second straight year. And of course, he did play some AAU ball, which, by the way, there's an interesting story about all that. He was playing for an AAU team called Ferrari here, and there was a story here where they had wanted to see Derrick Rose move up, and they being Nike. Nike wanted to sponsor him, but they wanted him to move up. They smelled money, as his brothers would say, and obviously his brothers, they wanted nothing to do with that nonsense, and so they created their own AAU team, and that's where you see, like, the support system is really intact there. And right away, man, obviously the quality is pretty grainy, but what can you do, bro? It's 2006. This guy was jumping out the gym, though. You could see it here. Now, in that team, he was playing alongside Eric Gordon, who would wear number 23. And it's interesting seeing Eric Gordon here. He was pretty good himself. You could see him here dunking on somebody. Golly. And you got that two-man game going on here. 1 to 23. Oh! Now, Rose, he was obviously top 5 in the nation. He was #1 in his state of Illinois. Yeah, he's up there. And on the day before his graduation, this guy was at the gym working on his game. Like, this guy's work ethic was relentless. He had completed school. He just needed to celebrate, and he was still working on his game. It's crazy. I mean, there's one story when he was a kid that he had a broken arm, and yet he was still playing basketball despite having that cast on his arm. And obviously, it was very tough growing up. He'd be sitting down with his mother, and she's counting the bills, and she's trying to see how much money she got, and she wouldn't have enough. And Derrick Rose, as a little kid, he saw all this. It's one of these stories, you just see how much were at odds, you know, against him. So much was against him, and yet he was still a top 5 recruit out of high school. Now, D Rose, he was thinking of going to, you know, Illinois with Eric Gordon, but that plan fell through when Eric Gordon decided to go to Indiana instead. Now, there was a bunch of other schools he could have gone to. DePaul, could have gone to Kansas State. One school he went to, out of these 5 schools, he decided to go to Memphis. And it was because of one person, John Calipari. D Rose, he was working his ass off back then when he thought John Calipari hated him. And what it was is that Derrick Rose, he was doubting himself at that time.
He called me and he was like, man, I'm ready to come home. I don't think I belong down here.
His friends in Chicago said, Coach, he thought you were the devil. He called us and said, I'm playing for the devil.
And some would say that that doubt that he had, that fear of him not being good enough, was what was driving him to work this hard and really become one of the best in the nation. And boy, was that Memphis team a good team. The team ended up winning a school record 38 games during their season with Derrick Rose as a freshman. And this team went so far in the NCAA March Madness tournament. They were in the Final Four. Yeah, they went that far in their first year with Derrick Rose. But let's just say things didn't go well during that championship game. They're up against a Kansas team that has Mario Chalmers, right, as their point guard. And they're up 7 points, so with less than 2 minutes left, they should be able to close this one out. But these guys would have to make their free throws. And let's just say they crumbled under the pressure.
Team 7 of 10 tonight. And cool.
Okay, he made it. Okay, I might have been wrong.
Even if he makes it, it's just a
He made them
two-possession
both. Wait, what part of the script is this? I thought he was missing them. Now, Joey Dorsey, one of their best players, he ended up fouling out in this game as well. So now they got to finish this game off without him. Mario Chalmers ends up making both free throws. It's a 4-point game now.
83% in the tournament at the line, and he shot 60 free throws. 1-1. Not this.
Okay, he missed that one, and it's a 2-point game now. Now, one thing that was obvious from this Memphis team is they're not a very composed team in the fourth quarter. I mean, they just had to call timeout here because they didn't know what to do. And here, with an open lay, and he gets fouled. Why are you fucking driving? It's a 2-point game with 18 seconds left. You need to save possession. Burn the clock out. Now you got to make those free throws, and, you know, you've been good so far.
53, 2 shots here, and that one's woefully off the line and taken away off the Rose shot again. Really missing by a wide margin, but it's Dozier keeping it for the Tigers. Now they can hold it all the way here. And a foul first.
D Rose is now shooting the free throws, and they're up 2. You just got to make them both. The game's over. And let's just say there's a good chance he misses one of them.
Kansas just used its last timeout. Backed off as well. Wow.
At the very least, he did make the third one. It's a 3-point game. They got to tie the game now and go to overtime. So I don't know if they can even do that.
Collins driving, almost lost the handle. Chalmers for the tie. Got it for 2 seconds. Unbelievable. Dozier at midcourt for the championship. No, we're going to overtime. Jim, the free throws did it and put Memphis in this kind of a position.
And let's just say they got dominated in overtime. With the team only scoring 5 points in overtime, is just a terrible, terrible half here. Mario Chalmers in college, he was actually a pretty good player. It's insane. D Rose in Memphis, unfortunately, they could not win it all. Well, now it's about the lottery and where Derrick Rose would end up. Which NBA team is going to select him? And at the time, apparently, the #1 pick was between Derrick Rose and Michael Beasley, who was a forward at Kansas State. And according to Jay, he had Derrick Rose at the #1 spot, with Michael Beasley following soon after. And let's just say Derrick Rose was watching this with very keen eyes, okay?
The 9th pick will be made by the Charlotte Bobcats.
That means that the Chicago Bulls have moved up into the top 3.
The Bulls, by the way, had a 1.7% chance to even get the #1 pick, and they're very close to getting it. They're top 3 now. Derrick Rose, he's watching this with keen interest. Oh boy.
The #1 pick in the 2008 NBA draft will be made by the Chicago Bulls.
It felt like the city hit a jackpot because now Derrick Rose was in prime position to play for his hometown Chicago Bulls team. I feel bad for the dude with the teddy bear. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Second pick, bro. All that for second pick? Wait. That's Fred Hoiberg? Wait, what? You would think, okay, he's obviously a #1 pick. The Bulls are obviously gonna pick the hometown kid. But there just wasn't a 100% certainty at that point, right?
We didn't really know Chicago was going to pick Derrick until the night before, and we received a call from Chicago. Chicago told Derrick they really want to pick him, but it's some background history with his brother, talking about me.
At that point, Derrick Rose basically made an ultimatum. If you can't accept my brother, don't pick me. And it felt like for his brother that he had ruined this chance for D Rose to play for Chicago. So was that really the end of it? Would he not play for Chicago after all that?
The Chicago Bulls select Derrick Rose from the University of Memphis.
I can't say it made me feel relief. I was more happy for him than anything because he went through a lot. People call him dummies because he don't talk that much and everything. It hurt because it's your brother and it's a family member. So it was joy and it was relief at the same time.
The dream had been realized. He was the #1 pick, and he was the #1 pick for his hometown Chicago Bulls, with his mother apparently saying that her knees were basically weak when that happened. He was basically not going to play for a franchise that had seen success up to the 90s. And unfortunately, after the dynastic Bulls in the 90s, things had gone dark in the 2000s. Derrick Rose, remembering as a kid, watching the 98 finals against the Jazz and the Bulls, every time Jordan had the ball, his older brother would turn off the television.
The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
What Michael Jordan did for the city of Chicago, I mean, giving them all the success. Michael Jordan, as many will tell you, he was larger than life. And anybody that would try playing for the Bulls from here on out would basically have to play in his shadow.
But there's some anxiousness mixed in as well. Who knows how all of this will play out, but it's certainly possible that tonight we saw the last of the Chicago Bulls as we have known them.
Well, Phil Jackson was not going to return for the Bulls, so he's probably right. Not just that, but because of the increasing player salaries, the NBA was basically in a lockout situation because they weren't able to agree on a CBA here. And so a season that was shortened in 1999 just got even crazier for the Bulls now, as MJ himself, the guy that led them to 6 championships, announces his retirement within months after the last one. Now, we all know Michael Jordan did end up playing for the Wizards, but he would stop playing for the Bulls indefinitely after this. And then I think a month later, Scottie Pippen teams up with Hakeem Olajuwon. Not just that, but Chuck is also there, Charles Barkley. They formed this big 3 in Houston, and in less than a year, the Bulls become a husk of their former selves.
Well, and it appears the Bulls will set a new record in the NBA for fewest points in the course of a ball game since the advent of the shot clock in 1955.
By scoring 49 points in a full regulation game, yet they had the record now for fewest points in a regular season game during the shot clock era. That is that is embarrassing. They're not even a year removed from the last championship, by the way. So Jerry Krause, he has to rebuild this whole thing again with Elton Brand at the #1 pick. He also picks up Ron Artest in the middle of the first round. And the Bulls in the following season, look at this, Pfizer as a lottery pick. Interesting stuff here. And Tim Floyd now is the new coach. They also picked Jamal Crawford in this draft. Let's just say Pfizer already was injured. After going 15 and 67 in 2001, now the Bulls are picking up Tyson Chandler, and not just that, but they also picked Eddie Curry with their pick. Now they have basically a Twin Towers of sorts. Now Ron Artest was traded for Jalen Rose, interestingly enough. Even though they didn't get the #1 pick in the 2002 lottery, they still got an interesting pick in, let's see here, Jay Williams. Okay, let's see how this pans out.
Injuries sustained in a motorcycle crash ended Jay Williams' career after just 1 season.
Wow, okay, that's, I'm not gonna lie, a string of bad luck. Krause, he's had enough, he's resigning now. Former Bulls guard John Paxson would be the GM now. They made some interesting moves, traded LaMarcus Aldridge for some reason, and now we get to the present day with D Rose. In his first summer league stint, I think this will be his only summer league stint because of how good of a rookie season he's had. It was nothing like his rookie season. He was terrible. He was quite frankly pretty bad. Let's just say. Derrick Rose shooting under 30% from the field. Yeah, this is terrible.
P, during your time in the league, who's the best rookie that you've seen enter the NBA?
Best rookie that I've seen enter the NBA?
It's a good question.
I think Derrick Rose. Like, Rose, hands down, has
Derrick
put
Rose.
on the greatest,
Derrick
if
Rose
not
for sure.
one of the greatest, if not the greatest rookie campaigns I think that we've seen.
Threw it nicely to Derrick. Behind his back, and he drives and scores. Barry took it away, then runs in.
Let's just say he was moving in a way that most people had never seen. The contortion with his body, the body control, it's just the agility. It's just beautiful.
Wow, look at this. Watch this block. Ooh, it almost hit his head on the rim.
And boy, did he have skill. I mean, he won the skills challenge during the All-Star weekend in 2009. What a dunk there. And it's no secret that he won Rookie of the Year this season, of course. The best rookie.
I really wanted to win this award because it shows how hard you have to work. Look at his mother there. I mean, this lady's got to be so proud. His brothers. Oh, what a wonderful family.
By the way, he led his team to the playoffs, and what do you know? His playoff debut would be legendary.
1 point lead for the Bulls. There is Rose with the jumper.
Your hat's off to him. They're going to beat you.
Noah inside from Rose. Miller doesn't get the bounce. Offensive rebound. Rose, yes!
Not only would he pass Will Chamberlain in most points in the playoff debut, he would tie Kareem for most points in the playoff debut by a rookie. And the upset would be complete against a Celtics team that had just won a title the previous year. A whopping 36 points and 11 assists for the newcomer. Didn't seem like he was a new player at all. After Ben Gordon here ties the game up, the Celtics would find life here to end this game.
Rondo, Allen, over Noah.
And what do you know? The Celtics now tie the series 1-1. And I'd be remiss to not mention that Kevin Garnett not playing in this playoffs is obviously part of the reason they're in this pickle. But you still got Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, and that's enough to beat this team, right? But boy, is this Bulls team feisty, and they got a rookie that's just as feisty as everybody else. Oh boy. Game 3 was the Paul Pierce game. Even though his stats weren't as eye-popping, he basically took over this one. Oh boy.
And Gordon on the drive. Gordon to the basket. Banks it in. What a shot from Gordon.
Come on, the Bulls have to win this game, right? Regulation. Is that who I think of shooting a three-pointer? There's no way he ties this, right?
Allen for three. It's good. He ties the game.
This game will be extended not just to one overtime, but to a double OT in which the Bulls pull it off. But I'm not gonna lie, with this dude Ray Allen, bro, yo, they might just win this series. It's that easy for them.
Gordon on the side. Marbury defending.
What is he doing?
Oh, he just hit it. There's Pierce. Rose defending for the top.
How do these people keep doing it?
Play, 7 to shoot. Rondo gets it back, and it's intercepted, picked up by Rose. Against Marbury, down the lane, to the rack. 8 of 19, defended by Salmons.
On the floor, go quickly, pull up and shoot your shot.
Salmons defended.
Try not to give him any space.
It's Pierce. Is this the dagger?
People don't know, but Paul Pierce, that level of shot making, he always had it. This game 6 was one of the more insane games I've ever seen. Bulls are down 8. It looks like the series is about to end tonight.
There is Rose going by.
Jump shot.
Salmons beats Davis, collides inside with Perkins. It won't. 4 of 12.
Well, Tony Allen's in there for defense.
And Allen. Miller for the top.
It's overtime and the Bulls are not up 4 points. We're about to see a game 7, aren't we? Oh yeah. I'll be honest, this game was a roller coaster. It went to double OT.
It's Allen. Noah on him. This is a 2-point shot.
Well, he was wrong. This was indeed a 3-point shot. I don't know how Ray Allen keeps doing this shit. I lied. It's a 2-point shot. 2 for 1. Why would you lie like that? You had me on the edge of my seat. Because it's fun. That's why. I mean, come on. Not only is it a 2-point shot, but now they have to make a 3-pointer to tie the game.
Salmons on Allen. Screen by Pierce over Heinrich. That's 3 for the tie. Oh.
How does he do it? I don't understand. This game is in triple overtime, bro. This is insane.
It's Pierce. Salmons fights through a screen. No one knocked it away. Galloping with Pierce.
Look at Doc. They just... He's so deflated.
Over Rose. Rejected by Rose. Rondo's shot was rejected by Rose.
D Rose with a clutch block. It's now going to a game 7. This series is electric, bro. This series is amazing. You have everything in this series. There's fights, there's drama. It's just amazing.
We have to have a game 7. This is amazing.
The Celtics, composed of distinguished champions.
What a dagger thrown in by Ray Allen.
The Bulls, transforming in harmony before our eyes.
The best 2 words in basketball. Game 7. Let's do it. This is at Boston. You thought Boston was going to lose a game 7 at Boston, bro. What are we doing, bro? I know that was deflating. It was pretty anticlimactic. I hyped up a game 7, and this is the halftime score. What do you want me to say, bro? But you're facing the defending champions. It wasn't supposed to be easy. And D Rose, credit to him, he averaged, close to 20 points a game on almost 50% shooting. He was spectacular in his playoff debut. Boo! Did I scare you? I bet some of you are in high school right now and they're scared to see this. SAT math prep. Why am I showing you this? Well, apparently there was an investigation made prior to when Derrick Rose was about to get drafted about how the handwriting that was seen on Derrick Rose's SAT was apparently not his, is what the investigators found. So essentially, they put the word out there that they thought Derrick Rose had cheated on his SAT. He had somebody else write it. Now, one thing that made people very suspicious about Derrick Rose's SAT is that he wrote that in Detroit rather than be in Chicago, in his hometown. A lot of people did say it's because Worldwide West, a prominent agent, he was influential in obviously getting John Calipari connected to D Rose, right? But it took until a year later for investigators to really pounce on this. The NCAA started getting involved, and Memphis, the school that Derrick Rose went to, was on the verge of losing out on basically recognizing its best season in university history. Memphis, who had also done an investigation on their own side, they said at this point there is no sufficient evidence on which to conclude that Derrick Rose knew or should have known that he was ineligible at the time of his participation in the NCAA championship. At the time, we didn't know who exactly was the one that was being investigated, but people did connect the dots and seen that it was Derrick Rose, obviously. And years later, you still have some articles that are talking about how D Rose lied to the world and got away with it, so to speak. You have this one from Bleacher Report: Derrick Rose cheated, but will never pay the price. It's not 100% certain that he cheated, but there was a lot of circumstantial evidences that was basically leaning many people to believe he did cheat. And so the NCAA pounced and said, Memphis, basically vacate your entire season in 2008. And so basically that season where they almost came close to winning the NCAA championship is basically erased from history books. All because a dude didn't want to take an SAT. I don't know, bro. It took until very recently for the colleges to realize that maybe standardized testing shouldn't be taken into account when it comes to athletics. So something that had impacted Derrick Rose and Memphis and John Calipari altogether, that wouldn't have impacted them if they had played, I think 5 years later, or even 10 years later, right? If they had played much later, nobody would have cared. This wouldn't have been a story. This would have been a non-issue. People would just be like, Derrick Rose just cheated on his SAT. So what? Whatever. He's a basketball player. He's not trying to be an education guy or whatever the hell. I know parents are gonna be so angry hearing this. He's so mean. He's so bad. This is a horrible example to set for kids. I hate the NCAA so much. The fact that I even have to talk about this as a serious topic. All right, bro, let's move on. Derrick Rose was training for the Team USA here, and that would mean obviously a chance for him to play and represent his country in the Olympics. This would be great.
I think I played all right. You always can give a little bit more, but I think I played all right. Hopefully enough to get me on the team.
Now, going to his second season, he did have an ankle injury that he was basically trying to, recover from, but it wasn't that serious.
Rose, oh, what a beautiful shot by Derrick Rose.
He played in 81 games in this rookie season and played his 78 this season.
Switched on that.
Back to Rose.
There was want to know why my guy's so awesome?
Tell me.
Because he's great in pick and roll.
Well, my guy's awesome because his game is gargantuan.
My guy's awesome because he could throw alley-oops.
Year 2 and this guy's already featuring in commercials with Kobe Bryant, bro. This is insane. Insane motion. And he's in videos with Kevin Garnett. Yeah, this guy, Derrick Rose, was seeing motion back then. That was quite interesting. I think a great example of Derrick Rose, just how special he was. This game against Phoenix, right? He played this game and did something that I don't think many people saw at the time ever in their lives.
Thomas
two-hand jams.
Lead pass. Rose.
Stop it! Stop it! Do not do him like that! What are you doing, Dragons? Did you not get the memo?
Stacey came with by far the best commentary on this gargantuan highlight reel here. And I bet none of you are surprised to find out that during this year, he was an all-star as well.
Describe the feeling of what it's like to be an all-star.
I really can't describe it right now. It really hasn't hit me. Hopefully, when I get down to Dallas, that's when they really hit me, I know. And just thinking about it.
Well, Derrick, it's something special to be an NBA player, but when you have the all-star next to your credentials, it really means a lot. And you look back at all the great players in Chicago Bulls history, you're the first since Michael Jordan. That's a long drought. Thank gosh you're here.
I really did not think that he would be the first since Michael Jordan when I researched this video. It's actually insane. But it just shows how bigger than life he already is, with obviously his second season being so sensational that he's an all-star already.
It's back yet, so I think that was a concern to Doc. So steal by Derrick Rose. And the reverse window.
In this game leading up to the playoffs, he would earn a career high 39 points after those free throws. Man, Derrick is here. He's here to stay. The way he plays is just so electric, right? That crossover move. A lot of people get reminded of Allen Iverson. And what's crazy is Derrick Rose would end up playing Allen Iverson in his last NBA game here as a Sixer. Now, in Chicago's second season with Rose, they would face the Cleveland Cavaliers in the opening round of the playoffs.
No one is picking them to win this series. Mark, for them to make this series competitive, what's the key? Oh, there's no secret. They're going to need their star player to match LeBron James, and that's Derrick Rose. When he plays well, not just scoring, but facilitating, other guys making plays, that's when they're at their best. It's about Derrick Rose, and then there's going to be a point where they're going to double and triple.
So really, I'm just going to talk very briefly about this series. Derrick Rose improving 7 points upwards of his previous playoff series where he averaged 19 points. Let's just say that LeBron James was the best player by far in the series, averaging over 31 points per game against the Bulls in this first round. You see the lower header here says he scored 24 in the first game, right? He would end up scoring 40 points alongside with 8 assists and 8 rebounds in game 2. Again, Rose averaging over 26 points per game in this series. He would help them win at least one game. He had 30 points here. And obviously this game would end here with the Bulls actually winning it with a missed shot here to try to win it. Rose ends the game with 31. LeBron ends the game with 39. That's just the difference right there. And LeBron in this game for 37 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. I mean, come on. He's just destroying the Bulls in ways that, like, a lot of people expected, really? So if it feels like I'm skimming too much over this series, there was like an important fight that happened, guys, it's not that noteworthy, okay? Like, LeBron dominated, okay? Let's face it, he only had 19 points in his game 5, which is what really lowered his average to 31. He would have averaged over 35 points if he had scored at least 25 or 30. It was clear the Bulls needed some work, not just in terms of player personnel, but the coaching staff would need to change here.
We are very, very excited to introduce Tom Thibodeau as our head basketball coach today.
Tom Thibodeau really making his name known with obviously the Celtics being the lead defensive coach here. Doc Rivers obviously being the head coach. Obviously, you had the Game 4 comeback. They were down 20. And it was just their stifling defense that really was the difference in this series where they decimated the Lakers. It obviously helps to have the reigning defensive player of the year on the team, but, you know, Tom Thibodeau being the architect of that defense also helps. And so now this partnership between Rose and Tibbs would be something that the franchise hoped would be fruitful.
Hey, Derrick in the back. You won the Rookie of the Year award. You made your first All-Star team a year ago. Now people around the league are talking about you taking the next jump to becoming a top 10 player in the league. I know you've never been one to back away from a challenge. What kind of expectations do you set for yourself individually going into year 3?
It's high. The way I look at it within myself, why not? Why can't I be the MVP of the league? Why can't I be the best player in the league? I don't see why. Why can't I do that?
What was so striking about this answer was, like, the confidence was there. but yet you could also hear the humility. Like, it was like one of those things, like he knew how good he was, but he also was humble in it. Another 2K commercial and another feature with Derrick Rose this time. And this was, I think, 2K11, where he was also in the cover of this game. I remember playing this game. This was, I think, my first 2K where I really got into the game. Fun times, fun times.
Derrick, wow, you tied your career high with 39 points. It's almost like you just willed this team back in it to win this game.
Derrick Rose this season, putting up numbers that are, quite frankly, sensational. There was this one game against the Rockets, he scored 33 points, right? In the fourth quarter, he would end up scoring 17 of his 33 points there.
At the top, to his left, lost his dribble, got it back. Joe King, Rose for three.
It truly felt like he was on top of the world at this point.
Was he a big-time player making a big-time play at the end there with Derrick?
Yeah, no, he was terrific.
This is a guy who used to play in AAU circuits, man. Tyreke Evans getting crossed up.
A quick excerpt from it. He says, although observers are putting forth a number of names for consideration, talking about the NBA MVP, no one seems to be doing so with total conviction. Let's be honest for a minute. The best player in the league is LeBron James. He says it's not even close. Skip, agree?
That's absolutely false. Of course it's close.
It is close.
I mean, LeBron James plays on a team with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
Nice help.
All right, now look at Derrick Rose in Chicago, for example. Derrick Rose is having an MVP-type season on a team that's 34-16. You take Derrick Rose off of the Bulls, and that team is a 500 team or worse. For John to suggest that it's not even close, yeah, LeBron's going to get considered, but Derrick Rose is going to get considered. Kevin Durant's going to get considered. Dwight Howard leads the NBA in blocks. He's second in rebounding. Amari has led a renaissance in New York.
I was fully expecting this to be Skip Bayless saying, no, LeBron never deserves, no. But you also had more people basically saying, look, LeBron's in a super team. There's no way I'm giving this to LeBron. Look at D Rose, how good the Bulls have been and how impactful Derrick Rose is for that team. 7th in scoring. I mean, come on now. I mean, look, it's a super team, right? That's what they called it, the Heatles. Look, man, it does penalize you in terms of conversations for MVP because you're playing next to another MVP type player in D Wade. You're playing against another star player in Chris Paul. Like, bro, you're playing with a lot of players that if you had taken out LeBron James from this team, they'd still be a good team. But obviously these days, people are going to look at the box score. He averaged 26 points in 2011. Look at this, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. And I mean, D Rose, 25 points. I mean, that's less than 26. What, 7 assists, but like 4 rebounds. LeBron's the better player. The Bulls that year obviously did finish with the best record in the East, that being a big factor when it comes to this MVP convo. Him averaging 25 points, right? That's less than 26 to LeBron. That's not as big of a point to take from this because people look at impact. People look at, oh, if you take Derrick Rose out of the team, well, it wouldn't be the same as if you took LeBron out of the Heatles. With Derrick Rose now being an all-star for the 2nd straight year and also being at the top of the conversation for MVP, things were going really great for Derrick Rose.
A 10-point lead for the Bulls, and this crowd here at the United Center gets on their feet as Rose hits another one. 42 points.
Leading his team to a win against the best team in the NBA record-wise, the Spurs, and doing so with a career-high 42 points now. And in another game, he lost in overtime, but he also scored 42, tying his career high yet again. But Rose, he kept piling on these performances. It began to become unquestionable who the MVP was this season. It's a very heartwarming, very touching moment. Year 3 and he's already the most valuable player in the NBA.
Going into that draft, I remember our feeling was, really, this is too good to be true. And we sit here today, 3 years later, and our feeling is still, this is really too good to be true.
And he also delivered one of the more emotional speeches that I think a lot of people obviously forget about.
Last but not least, I want to thank my mom. Brother Rose, my heart,
the reason I play the way that I play. Just everything. Just knowing that days that I don't feel like going into practice or I'm having a hard time, think about her when she had to wake me up, go to work, and just making sure that I'm all right and making sure the family is all right. Those are hard days. My days shouldn't be hard because I love doing what I'm doing, and that's playing basketball. So you keep me going every day, and I love you, and I appreciate you being in my life.
#1 seed in the Eastern Conference, the team with the best record in the NBA during the regular season. The Bulls will begin the playoffs at home here in Game 1 today.
And I'll be honest with you, bro. This is looking like a team that could win it all. The constant improvements that D Rose has been putting up, both in regular season and playoffs, this should be an exciting playoff run for this team.
Rose again, spinning, floater, yes!
In a game where Derrick Rose would hit his career playoff high, he would obviously have to win this game. They had never led in this game prior to this moment here in the fourth quarter.
Chicago Bulls have not led for a single second in this game. Carver!
Wait, is that Rick Bucher interviewing Derrick? He was on ES. I forgot about this, but he had 39 points, a career playoff high, bro. Beautiful to see. Indy was one of those teams that was gonna play physical, and D Rose felt it. He did say that he had to obviously, work for his buckets in this game, even though he had a career high.
As we approach 2 minutes to go in the fourth, Rose.
In game 1, he had 39, 6 and 6, and then game 2, 36, 8 and 7. But in this game 4 here, Derrick Rose would tweak his ankle right here, would have to leave the floor.
How's over here? How's the ankle?
It's fine. Been getting treatment on it all day. Feeling pretty good, so I'm not worried about it.
Now, Derrick Rose in game 3 against the Hawks in the second round went off. And he went off for a lot of points, okay?
But more important, Mike, bad looks, Mike. They're not getting good looks.
Derrick Rose, most points he's had in his NBA career. 44.
A career high for the MVP against the Hawks. Now, obviously, there's not much to say.
Derrick Rose never seems to get tired. Rose with the runner. 89.
With another 33 points and 10 assists in this game 5 here, he was sensational.
Gets the lane. Rose, defended by Joe Johnson, setting a screen. Noah, great screen set by Joakim Noah.
What in the world is this score? Do I even need to go further? 30 points, 10 assists in this game. Easy win. And knowing he had to sub out after this third quarter because of how much of a blowout it was, he did all that in 3 quarters. And now the Bulls were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they were facing a familiar foe, as in LeBron Raymond James Sr.
From 3-point territory. Now Rose sets it up for 3. Yes.
Rose leading this team, and they're leading in this game 1 against the Heat.
Rose with the runner. Yes. Rose watched by Chalmers. Bang for 3. Yes. And Rose hearing the chants of MVP. Rose, yes.
He led the team with 28.6 assists in this game 1 win against the Heat. But in games 2 and 3, you would see an obvious improvement from the Heat. The game was tied in the fourth quarter, but it seemed like the Bulls just couldn't score late in the fourth. It was just a bottleneck, it seemed like. And it was LeBron James, obviously, that took over late in the fourth to take the game and tie the series up. Game 3 will be basically the same script, with the fourth quarter being close, but then Miami pulling up late and just scoring, and the Bulls just couldn't answer.
Bosch off the feint on Gibson and knocks it down. 2. Rose for the win.
Miami just had too many weapons, man. It was just tough for Chicago to defend. And then overtime, they just pulled away. And Chicago just couldn't beat this team.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. Rose spinning his way and scores.
The Bulls at one point were up 12 in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes to go. And when Rose was scoring on that acrobatic play, I mean, he was staving off a run that the Miami Heat were on. But it just wasn't enough. Miami just, they were able to come back in this game when they were down 12.
No help. This for the tie. Rose, who missed a key free throw in game number 4 in Miami, missing.
And that would essentially seal the game and thus seal the series. The Miami Heat will go to the NBA Finals. Sadly, the MVP could not stave off the Heatles' big three.
It was me. Turnovers, I guess fouls, if you call it that. If anything, you just learn from it and just try to do better next year.
Now, Rose, he's right, man. He doesn't have to feel too bad because this team is still a good team. They're still in the running for a title next season. And how could you not be after obviously clinching the best record in the NBA, right? You have the reigning MVP and you have the reigning Coach of the Year. Oh, I forgot to mention that too.
For the last 2 seasons, Rose's three-point percentage has increased by an almost unbelievable 50%.
The crazy part is that Derrick was still getting better.
Young guys do not earn your praise easily. But there was clearly a respect on the court while you were going after him and he was going after you from that first game. And last year, too, something happened. Something impressed you about him. What was it, Coach?
Well, I mean, I could tell when a player, truly wants to be better, when a player truly wants to improve. And I respect that about them. And I admire that. And because that was a quality that I had when I was a kid.
And boy, you just couldn't help but be hyped for the following season. Adidas with a nice commercial of Derrick Rose and the Coliseum with the Matador and the Bull. And oh, it's beautiful. Derrick Rose as the Raging Bull leading the Chicago Bulls to glory. With rose petals and roses being thrown out his way. It's beautiful. It's poetic. And since it was a lockout season, the season I think opened up on Christmas Day and the Lakers and Bulls matched up. Derrick Rose in this game. Whew! And I mean, I remember this match like it was yesterday.
Christmas Day. Rose left. Rose in the lane. Rose. Good!
The MVP showing why he was indeed given that award. Bang. Derrick Rose pretty open about how he thinks he was part of the reason they lost that series. He thinks, look, that series against the Miami Heat, he's going to learn from it.
I'm the reason why we lost. I'm the one that had the ball in my hands. I didn't make the right decision, but you just learn from it.
MVP Derrick Rose.
He has the inner toughness to want to succeed and to want to do whatever it takes to succeed.
Getting the Kobe stamp, I mean, you've made it in life when you get that stamp. I'm telling you what, man. And let's just say, whenever a rose grows in the garden, doesn't make for a show. He's in Staples Center getting MVP chants. I mean, this guy is just... he's larger than life. Now, if you look at the season logs, he did miss a few games, actually. Quite a lot, actually. There was this part here in March where he missed a bunch of games. Late in April, he missed some games. Like, he did miss a lot of games during this season.
Derrick, you had missed the last 5 games, so the decision to play today was based on what?
Me feeling good. The whole week I was seeing a great chiropractor, Stuart Yost. Did a great job getting me back.
He had back spasms, he had ankle injuries. I mean, he had a few little injuries, but he would still play all throughout the season. He would come back.
In the backcourt and Derrick Rose.
Are you kidding me?
The 3rd straight appearance and 2nd start.
Still good enough to be an all-star despite the injury woes. He was still playing at an elite level. The only reason I'm showing a Nicki Minaj performance is because of what comes after it. I don't know why, but they arranged it to where after the performance, there's the Eastern Conference intros for the starting lineups and whatnot.
At guard, making his 3rd appearance as an all-star for the Chicago Bulls, Derrick Rose.
You have this dude just looking at LeBron and everybody else dancing. He's like, why y'all dancing, bro? Like, you can tell you can tell you side-eyeing them, bro. Motherfucker always has that look, man. Like, he just does not want to be there, bro. And low-key, that might have been how he felt the whole time.
Derrick Rose spoke with GQ about how he's a little uncomfortable with the celebrity status that he has in his hometown, being the biggest star in Chicago. Here's what he had to say, you guys. Quote, sometimes it's too much. Chicago isn't used to stardom. Back when Michael Jordan was here, everyone used to actors and singers and people being at games, but there's been a drought since then. And even celebrities, they'll stop here to film a movie and then pop right back out. They don't know how to act towards celebrity, so I always have to have someone with me. I can have a hat on, glasses on, whatever, but people still notice me. If I go outside without a hat on, I feel like I'm naked. This life really doesn't fit my personality.
This man, he had a huge obligation, obviously, to Adidas, right? He had to do all these sponsorship opportunities. He had to basically live the famous lifestyle. Now, he did also use that stardom as further motivation.
Yo, D, crazier than last year?
Way crazier, man. As you can see, it's a million people here, man. It's a blessing, man, just to have all these people show up and show a lot of love, man. I feel good.
But it's not just the people of Chicago. He's a global brand. Chinese people. All over the world, you got people flocking to see him.
Coming out of Englewood.
And after All-Star Weekend, he actually ended up signing a lucrative deal with Adidas. Obviously, coming off the MVP season, his name is bigger than ever. Adidas cashing in on having the big brand of D Rose. It was a long 13, I think, year contract, and it was for $185 million. The whole family was there. D Rose was emotional knowing that he was providing for his family. Not just that, he even said he was providing for the next generation of his family, that they wouldn't even know about what he did, but he would still feel good that he was providing for family that far out in his life. I forgot to also mention he signed a lucrative extension with the Bulls during that lockout offseason. 5 years, $95 million. At the time, that's a pretty big contract.
Rose crosses over the fadeaway. Got it, Mr. Beck.
And there was a very good case to make at the time that Rose was being underpaid by both the Bulls and Adidas because just of how big he was, how good he was, how special from a night-to-night basis he was on the court.
Every night. Rose cutting to the basket. Derrick Rose will do it as the Knicks have lost their 6th consecutive game.
So him not liking the fact that he's famous or not liking the lifestyle. I mean, Derrick, you're just that big of a brand. You're that big of a name.
For Chicago, he's had all kinds of injuries through his career. Great feed. Bruiser into Rose.
Once again, the Bulls are the #1 seed in the East. And once again, they're in the playoffs, and it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Find out that you bypass the harder team in Miami Heat.
Rose came down bad on his left foot. See him holding onto his knee and down.
No other words could describe what just happened other than fear, awe, silence. Like everybody was just quiet because it's like, how did this happen? How in the world did this situation get to this point? First off, it's obvious that the Bulls didn't need to play Rose this late in the game. They're leading by 12. It's the playoffs. Just fucking sit him. You got Tibbs looking over like, oh boy, what have I done here? Oh no.
The injury, we just talked about the 26 games he has missed with an assortment of injuries and now holding a knee late in a game that is already decided for all intents and purposes.
It would be an understatement to say that this injury changed the entire complexity of this playoff series. It's a tie game here with 2 seconds left. The Sixers here are going to clinch it with this one free throw here, okay? And then, look, they have Luol Deng, they have Joakim Noah, they have Carlos Boozer. But is that good enough for this team? Absolutely not, right? The question that people had regarding Derrick Rose, the impact of him missing out, how good would this team look without him? Well, it's no surprise that they can't even beat an AFC team without D Rose. That's just how impactful he was for this team.
Off the mark, rebounded by Iguodala. Sixers looking for the win. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Iguodala is fouled.
And after that free throw, that's how they led the game, and then that's how they won the series. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting to look back on. I'll leave it up to others to prognosticate and talk about how the Bulls were able to lose a series where they should be the best team, even without Rose, right? You should be better than this team. I'll just chalk it off to how impactful D Rose is and really how big of a loss, this obviously affected the whole team. Morale booster. Nope, this was a morale drainer.
Derrick Rose had 6 different injuries this season, the worst of them being a torn ACL.
The results are in. Yes, he tore his ACL, and that would be catastrophic for the Bulls. He would obviously have to miss extended time in order to rehab that injured knee. And of course, this was all part of a campaign launching a sneaker that was obviously paying tribute to him growing up in his neighborhood of Englewood. There was also a campaign obviously focused on the return of Derrick Rose. And after showing this commercial obviously to the screen in front of everybody, D Rose broke down for
I'm all in.
I know it's emotional, but you just have to understand that you're inspiring millions of fans in your comeback, but the purpose of the return goes both ways because they're inspiring you. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the inspiration that you're getting from your fans.
Suffice it to say, he was truly an inspiration for those looking up to him, even when things were down on his end.
Day. Everybody wants to know right off the bat, how's the knee? Where are you at on whatever timetable that you or your doctors are following?
My knee is doing good. Guess when I come back, I really don't know yet. It's really up to the doctors, where I'm improving every week and just trying to get better, and my knee is looking actually good.
Now, many people argue that the Bulls and, Derrick Rose as well handled his comeback horribly because, first of all, it seemed like there was really no timetable set, and it seemed like people were under the impression that D Rose was going to come back at any point during the next season. From all the media press, it seemed like there was progress being made, but at the same time, it didn't seem like he was even close to coming back. So really, it was a waiting game in terms of when he would come back. People were eager to really know how long it would take. And around this time, people looked at Adrian Peterson. When he tore his ACL and came back, he had actually came back relatively fast compared to obviously the people of the past after tearing an ACL, and he had put up a historical season for his standards. So I think a lot of people were under the impression that Derrick Rose, him being super athletic and him playing a lesser intense sport, he would also come back relatively quick, right? People were still shocked after seeing that 2012 playoff game 1, but they were still hoping that he would redeem himself and that Derrick Rose would put the city on the map yet again. And fans were beginning to lose patience, and it was partly fueled by the media, who had also lost patience.
I have never, ever seen a purported NBA star, guy makes $95 million a year in salary alone, not want to play.
More and more people started to question whether or not Derrick Rose was truly committed to the cause. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, looking back, this is just stupid. And Derrick, boy, was he hearing the noise. He was hearing it not just from himself, but from other people too.
You kind of have like almost a checklist of, not people that's talking reckless, but people that, might be doubting you, the Bulls, everything else. I know you don't forget anything.
I wouldn't say that, but I listen and watch everything. If I don't hear it, or best believe one of my friends hear it and they're telling me it, and that's why I like them and that's why I love them to death, because they know that motivates me and make me want to do better as a player.
After that playoff loss, people were hungry to see him back, and they were thinking, oh, he's coming back next year in the playoffs. He's gonna come back and he's going to lead us to glory. But the playoffs came and Nate Robinson was leading them at the point guard, not Derrick Rose, and they were pissed. I guess fans were just tired of getting a taste of it. They just wanted the whole load. Shout out, Paul Pierce.
Derrick Rose, who continues to rehab from a torn ACL. And David Aldridge, you had a chance to watch the workout and talk to him a few hours.
You're seeing him doing all this running, all this working out and practicing. You're like, oh, he's close. He's getting close. I think around March, they cleared him to be able to practice and stuff, and that's where people got the impression that he was able to play. They'd see him move the way he used to, oh, what a reverse layup, and that they'd be excited. Quite honestly, it was a false impression given to the fans. They thought he was closer than what he was to play. Not just that, they saw this game where the Bulls ended up snapping the Heat's 27-game winning streak, and they were like, if we add Derrick Rose to this team, we're championship contenders right off the gate already. But he's practicing. Look, he's looking good. He's progressing well. He should be playing. Look at him. He's moving fine.
Stephen, I think it's out of bounds. I know the score well. I appeared on the score when I was in Chicago many times. I just don't think it's fair to pressure a young man whose pain threshold and psychological makeup nobody knows. I don't know what's going on with his knee. Clearly, this kid would run through brick walls for the Chicago Bulls. And for some reason, he doesn't think his knee is quite right, quite ready for playoff pressure. And I'm with him 100%. I just say God bless him and leave him alone until next year if that's what he wants.
To think that he doesn't care or, oh, he's not as committed, I mean, that's just bullshit, man. And obviously, people were expecting him to come back earlier. But the problem is the Bulls and the team around D Rose didn't do a good job at setting the expectations off the gate. Yeah, he's out for the season. We'll end up playing the Heat in the first round where Nate Robinson hits a clutch shot. But even with how scrappy Chicago was, the Heat were way too good.
Now, outside of a few media gatherings, Adidas ads, we hadn't heard much from you since the time the injury occurred. Why was that?
I didn't want to do anything, to tell you the truth. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to rebuild my leg and be around my son.
Another problem is that they didn't hear from D Rose much, and so they would hear from other people, and those people would set up the wrong expectations, and D Rose would not really defend himself or say anything, so it led to people like the media crafting their own narratives based on what other people were saying, or you were trying to involve other people, linking them to D Rose and say, oh, this is what they want, this is what D Rose wants. We've seen them do this with Kawhi and Uncle Dennis. We've seen them do this with tons of players who are quite reserved and aloof and don't talk much.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling physically?
I'm feeling fine. Just trying to stay healthy. My leg is getting back stronger, and I'm just trying to continue my training and keep going hard.
How tough was it sitting out a whole season?
It was very hard, very difficult, knowing that I love the game so much. The most I ever watched basketball and been away from basketball. So if anything, emotionally, it drains you a little bit.
And then you got fans saying, oh, he doesn't care. Do you know how hard it is to deal with this, not just physically, but mentally? I mean, this is just sad. But boy, is there positive news on the way.
I think I am 100%. I think that in the training, I'm doing almost everything, squatting, running, lifting.
We were here at Media Day last year,
yes,
and it ended up as kind of a doozy of a Groundhog Day because it's another whole year before we see you in uniform again, and it's over 500 days since you've played a game.
I understand where the fans are coming from, and I understand that obviously it's frustrating for D Rose having to hear all of this, but at the same time, you could understand it from every perspective possible and still know that it's bullshit the way people treated him back then. But the return was here in preseason action against the Pacers, and we got D Rose looking more like himself again. Let's go.
There's George. He dives for it. Can't. Derrick's on the run.
That knee looks good.
And he would be back home and introduced as a hero coming back, returning to Chicago.
From Chicago, 6'3" guard, number 1, Derrick Rose.
And it feels good seeing him back home. First time since April of 2012. It is October of 2013 when he played again. He's returning back in Chicago. Oh, what a move. 22 points scored in this game. He's slowly getting back up there.
Ahead on the run, Derrick Rose stops and pops.
Hitter didn't box out that time.
Rose deep and scores.
And in this preseason game, he scores 32 points with 9 assists. 549 days after getting hurt in that court in Chicago, he will come back and face the Miami Heat in an opener. And boys, D Rose looking good in preseason action, averaging over 20 points a game.
3-man, he's had to make the adjustment to becoming a 2 is Rose with his first bucket of the season. See him before the game for an hour straight, just working on spot-up threes and free throws. Cole.
Oh, that's just wrong. Norris Cole crossing up. Oh, an ankle breaker too? Ah, that's disgusting. And he doing this with the high top too. Yo, this cannot be possible. This is crazy. And after coming off of back-to-back championships, the Heat would win this one. Oh boy.
Rose with it. Rose with the shot. He scored with 5.7 remaining.
And Rose with a game winner against the Knicks. Oh, this is nice.
An interesting dynamic last year. The hope that Derrick was going to come back and make a return and what impact that would have maybe kind of kept interest in the team more so. I mean, was there anything that you would have done differently in that respect?
If we knew from the very beginning that Derrick was not going to play the entire year, and we knew that with 100% certainty, we would have announced that he's not going back for the entire year. There was no hidden agenda as far as trying to keep the fans excited about the team. No one knew, including Derrick, whether he was going to be able to come back, and we weren't going to make that announcement that Derrick wasn't going to come back if there was a chance that he might.
This is the Bulls owner's son, Michael Reinsdorf, was also the president of the Bulls, addressing that issue. Now, so far in this season, Derrick Rose has played 10 games, and he's doing well.
And they got a hand on it. Now watch right there. He kind of planted. And that would have appeared that maybe it was his left foot or knee.
I guess I spoke too soon. Derrick Rose here leaving the game after getting hurt here on this play. And it would appear to be a torn meniscus, and he would miss the remainder of the season. So now we're dealing with even more injury fracas. In the 10 games he played, he averaged career lows in points, assists, and even field goal percentage. He was just trying to get his way back up, but unfortunately sustained yet another knee injury, this time on a different knee.
Prayers go out to him, man. He's a great player. He's been great for the game of basketball. And it's been unfortunate for him the past year and a half or so. So, man, that's a tough one. But, I'm sure, man, he'll get to work, get back strong, and try and come back, whenever he can.
It felt like one of the worst days in basketball during that season. Derrick Rose yet again hurt. It was just tough.
Frankly, we got to take on Derrick's approach. Derrick's already moved past it. He's thinking about, what he's got to do the rest of the way this summer, being ready for next year. He's talking to me about the team.
And so now Derrick is obviously forced to be sidelined for the rest of the season, and it's tough. You got the team playing, and you just can't bear watching this team because Derrick Rose not playing.
Yeah, that young man's name is PJ, and Derrick Rose swears that he is a huge hoop fan already. If it's on TV, he's watching my...
Boy, is that wholesome as hell to see. Well, now the Bulls seem to be Jimmy Butler's team, even though this is his third season, right? He's a hustle, he's a grit and grind type of guy. As for what happened in the playoffs, they ended up losing in 5 games to the Wizards in the first round. During a U.S. scrimmage game in Chicago, Derrick Rose with a rousing standing ovation. This was the first that we'd see from Derrick Rose since the injury. Finally, we'll see him play some basketball in the middle of August.
Player, the Jazz have his rights. Just don't have room for him right now. Look at that.
Yeah, he's not guarding Derrick Rose, though.
No, he's not.
He's still got that gas. He's still got that juice in him. Look at that beautiful move right there. He's missed over 180 games over the last 3 seasons alone, okay? This is something that is obviously a concern, and we're going to hope for next season for it to be a healthy one.
Certainly those of us who watch Bulls TV globally want to know how you're doing, obviously, not only physically, but also, emotionally, and your thoughts on camp.
I've been doing fine, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, all that.
Okay, LeBron, that's a good sign.
Derrick, I know you're all about winning, and that's very important to you over here to the left.
I can't even see you. Right. Oh, shit.
He really did the Kawhi before Kawhi. That's insane. It was a great sign seeing Rose play in the preseason like we did last season.
Their largest lead is 4. Rose. Noah keeps it alive. Rose gets it back. And he stepped on somebody's foot. And you hear the crowd saying no. You can actually hear people
behind us saying no.
Now, he would be fine. He would not have to leave the game for much time, right? He was good. He was fine. But of course, fans are like, yo, come on, bro. Not again. They didn't want to see another moment like that they seen years ago and even the last season.
Games left, now it's about to 5. Inside for Joakim Noah.
See him.
Now, this is the type of highlights I want to see. I want to see more of this. Less the injuries. I don't want to see no injuries, bro.
Derrick Rose made some interesting comments about his long-term health. And here's what the Chicago Bulls point guard had to say about his litany of injuries.
I'm thinking about long term. I'm thinking about after I'm done with basketball, having graduations to go to, or having meetings to go to. I don't want to be in my meetings all sore or be at my son's graduation all sore just because of something I did in the past. So just learning and being smart.
This was something that was obviously said to the media. I mean, Nick Friedel wrote this on ESPN where Derrick Rose, the quote is there. And let's just say people did not like this quote specifically, okay? Obviously, he said more things like, I think a lot of people don't understand that when I sit out, it's not because of this year. I'm thinking about long-term, I'm thinking about after I'm done with basketball, which is, of course, something people do not want to hear when you're currently playing basketball.
So do you guys have a problem with Rose's comments? Stephen A.?
Skip Bayless, I have to tell you that when I heard these comments, and I'm not exaggerating, I was devastated.
People felt like Rose was not as committed to the game as, people thought he would be, right? And he had a chance to clear this all up on CNN with Rachel Nichols here.
I was just worrying about myself, just worrying about my future like every player in the league does. And I don't know, I probably just think different. This is only my 7th year, but I think further on into my career, further on into my life, just trying to plan things out. And I think people took that out of term and took it out of content, and it is what it is, but I was being myself, and that's all I could be, so I could care less.
And Chuck, well, he did not like what Derrick Rose said there, to clarify all of it.
Take issue with what he said? Of course I do. That was stupid.
The gist of what Chuck is saying is that, well, Derrick Rose, he's getting paid $20 million to play basketball, and really, you shouldn't have to worry as much about, the future when really, it's all about winning a championship now. And Shaq also criticizing him in the same vein as Chuck. I also forgot to tell y'all, yeah, the team recently picked up Pau Gasol. A lot of people were talking about this team potentially being a contender. And Derrick Rose, this attitude, this quote really got people mad because it's like, bro, they're trying to win a championship. They think they could do it this year. And Derrick Rose, it doesn't seem like he cares that much.
I don't know the context in which the question was asked. I don't know the context in which he answered it, and so sometimes we all say things that, that we probably could say differently. The bottom line is this, is that he was injured. He had 2 sprained ankles, so he did the right thing. And when he's better, he played. And it's really that simple.
That's also a fair point. I mean, the guy was hurt, and he took his time and didn't play. Because I made that Clippers video recently, it just reminds me of Kawhi Leonard, how people talked about him and him getting injured and him not playing and load managing. A lot of people, it seems like, have this perception of athletes that, obviously it is their duty to play, right? That's how they see it. But at the same time, if they're hurt, they shouldn't have to play.
I think the last time I came back, my couple of years in the league, I was a reckless player. But now that I'm matured and just learned the NBA game a little bit more, I think I could affect the game in a more efficient way.
In this game, he was playing the Raptors, and the Bulls were actually trailing by 7 points at the half.
Trying to speed up the game. Rose, the drive, and floats for 2.
This was a win that the Bulls could take home and be happy with, but unfortunately, yeah, you could see here, Derrick Rose, falling down there.
Derrick Rose is wincing here. And this is very reminiscent of what we saw against Philadelphia a few years back and in Portland.
Again, bro. Again, bro. I can't handle this.
Skip Bayless, what's going on with Derrick Rose?
Stephen A. Smith, here we go again.
This is 2 days after the whole controversy of his quote. Bro, I hate this so much. Now, Derrick, he did address the criticisms that were levied at him by Chuck and Shaq.
It's the outcome. I just got to stay consistent with all my workouts, stay consistent with how I'm eating, how I'm hydrating, and really take care of my body right now. I know that I want to play, but I really got to listen to my body while I'm out there and just know that all my consistent work is going to put me back in the position that I was in before the injuries.
How do you block out kind of all the outside noise? I mean, especially when former players were kind of like questioning your comments from a couple weeks ago, Charles, Shaq, guys like that.
I understand. I can't get mad at that, man. That's their opinions. It's what I said at the time. That's what I felt. And when things happen like that, I always got to stay positive with my train of thought. I know that it's a bigger picture than what everyone sees, and I know that in the future, this is just going to be minor.
And Tibbs, man, credit to him. He was defending Rose for all the hoopla that was going on.
Tom, you've been around some big name guys in some big markets. Do you recall anyone that's at least as polarizing with every move he makes than Derrick? It just seems like there's...
It goes with the turf. You know, when you get into a player of his stature in a city like Chicago, Patrick Ewing went through the same thing in New York. So that's part of it, and that's why you can't get caught up, whether it's praise or criticism. It doesn't matter. Just go out there, do the best you can, put everything you have into each and every day. Don't worry about what people are saying.
He's had 41 points and 37 rebounds.
Hey, why not? Why not?
But after all that hoopla, he only ended up missing 4 games after that Raptors injury that he sustained. Do not know why I called it a Raptors injury. It was a Rose injury.
Open up the floor on that side. Rose starts to drive, hangs, fires, scores.
Big-time players make big-time plays.
And he making clutch plays too. I think we might be back, folks. This might be the healthiest season since that 2012 season. Oh, yes.
Rose hit ahead to Butler. Oh, that's beautiful.
In this game here against the Cavs, he ended up winning and scoring 30 points. And throughout the season, he's been averaging 18 plus points per game on 40+% shooting from the field since he came back from that injury against the Raptors.
To the ball, he hasn't had a lot of touches. It's early on in the game. Derrick lost the handle on it, dives for it, and it's out of.
Hey man, it's just a slip, bro. Get up, get back up. You can play. Don't worry. It's just a slip. Many people, though, unfortunately, that's where they suspect the meniscus injury happened.
As we got the word on Tuesday night about Derrick Rose, he's going to need surgery again on the right knee. Had you heard that?
Man. Yeah, I just heard it, man. It's I was real speechless, man. It's so tough, man, for a guy like that that plays so hard to have to go through it again and again and again, man. And it's just tough, man. I'm gonna just pray for him. I'm gonna hit him up, as soon as I get off here with y'all, man, and just try to keep his spirits high. But it's tough for a guy like that, man. And I just feel bad for him.
Yeah, at this point, bro, it's like every year there's a new injury. Every year there's another surgery that needs to be done. I think this is the 4th surgery he's had to have done over the last 4 years. And as I said, a lot of people suspect when he slipped there and he obviously was pissed, that's when I think he sensed it, that he tore his meniscus.
And are you okay with the organization putting a 4 to 6 weeks and kind of putting a timetable that you need to be back in?
Who cares? I'm not even thinking about that right now. I'm thinking about just getting the most out of every day.
And he was progressing well. In April, he did end up coming back to play after missing 20 games. And obviously, they would end up losing against the Orlando Magic. I mean, Derrick Rose only scoring 9 points. He was just getting back to it again. And the Bulls, they're in the playoff position right now. And Derrick Rose, man, without him, the impact is felt. They're not as good offensively, and obviously that's something that they need. They desperately need Derrick Rose healthy if they want to win a championship this year.
Rose breaking down the D and soaring to the goal and put.
And in his first playoff game in 3 years, boy, did he look more like himself.
Sanders had a lot of issues, and his shot clock down to 4. He'll take the long 3. Hit it again. Rose, another long 3. Another hit.
He ends the game off with not only a W, but 23 points in his return back to the playoffs. And in game 2, even though it was the Jimmy Butler show, 31 points in this game. And, oh, look at this shot here. Bang! 2015 was his most improved of the player of the year season. Not only that, but he also made the All-Star weekend this season as well. Yeah, he was blossoming into a star this year. And it was easy pickings. Chicago up 2-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks. And in a closely contested Game 3, Derrick Rose came up big.
Rose is back. Rose, step back jumper. Oh, it's pure! Derrick Rose! Skip pass, Snell for two. Factor. Rose penetrates and scores!
34 points in a win in overtime. Yeah, he's yelling, he's celebrating, he's back, baby. And the Bulls in a tie game, a chance for the Bucks to get swept here.
Dudley up top, open, it's got a clean pass.
Now the Bulls, they didn't end up sweeping them, but at least they got the third largest margin of victory in the playoff game up to that point.
Rose whips it over to Gasol, wide open, yes.
In a game where the Bulls had the lead practically the whole game, the Cavs were trying to come back. They were getting close at some point, but it was the Bulls that would prevail and actually steal a game at Cleveland. And even though in Game 2 it was the LeBron show, after ending up scoring 19 points in the first game, he would wound up with 33 points in Game 2. And let's just say the Cavaliers won Game 2, and now the series is tied 1-1.
Rose on the drive to the basket, banks it in. He's got 12. On the drive, shot blocked by Rose.
In this game, D Rose ends up scoring 30 points, but 3 of those 30 points were, some of the biggest baskets we've ever seen from him in his career.
James looking, back to Smith. Smith for three. It's good. Looking, finds Rose. Rose trying to get open, fires away. Bang! It's over. The Bulls win.
The biggest shot of his career in the playoffs, I would argue, handedly biggest shot. 2015. What a wild series this was. The Bulls now up 2-1 against the number 2 seed Cavaliers.
Rose puts up a three, puts it in. 3-point game.
I don't know what it is, but during this series, he was making big threes, man. This game was a close one. The Cavaliers were leading, and here you could see Braun was keeping the Cavs afloat with a foul here drawn. And after those 2 free throws, it was a 5-point game.
Butler steps back, puts up a three. It's good.
The Bulls, though, have 0 timeouts left. The Cavs have 3. Oh, now they have 2 more left. And then here, they would get trapped again and would have to call another timeout. And then again, they would struggle with the inbounds and run out of timeouts.
Rose on James, looking to double team him, trying to get away. James holding it. Offensive foul.
Now the Bulls have a chance to tie the game or take the lead.
They do not have timeouts remaining. Rose on the crossover, drives, layup. It's good. Tie game with 8.4 left.
I want you to pay attention to the coach here, David Black. He's trying to call timeout. The other coach is like, yo, don't call timeout. We don't got any left. The referee ignores him. LeBron here on this play. Look at this.
James drives down on Butler. James to the basket. Puts it knocked away out of bounds.
I kid you not. The referees, instead of letting the game go as it's going, letting the game flow, right, giving the ball to Cleveland, 0.8 seconds, they look at the replay center and see who has the ball. Basically, giving the Cavs an extra timeout to look and try to see what they can do with the ball.
James for the win. It's good. LeBron James at the buzzer.
I'll tell you what, if the refs didn't give the Cavs an extra timeout there, I'm not sure if they would have drawn that play up. And LeBron, kudos to him. He made the shot, but it's just this game doesn't feel fair at all. It feels like the Bulls could have really won this game if David Blatt, they actually gave him a tech for calling a timeout he didn't have. There's this cute presser with D Rose and his child here. Look, man, I'll tell you what. I think this game, the Bulls literally had a chance to be up 3-1, and them losing this game the way they did, I feel like it just completely demoralized the team. I don't know if that's the case, but it felt like it. Based on how the last 2 games went, I mean, Game 6 is when this series ends, and look at the score margin. These games were close all throughout the series, and now the Bulls basically got deflated. Like, bro, imagine calling a timeout when you don't have one, and the referees are like, Yeah, whatever. I feel bad for Bulls fans because that year I think this was the biggest chance that Eastern team had at beating LeBron and Kyrie-led Cavs. Well, now it's the offseason where D Rose is apparently set to miss the USA basketball minicamp, and he will not play in the 2016 Olympics, unfortunately. Worse yet, D Rose is being accused of a word that I won't say. Yes, this is something that I'm going to have to touch on a little bit, but I'll more so do it later in the video when, you know, more stuff comes out later on, right? The lawyer for D Rose says this is nothing more than a desperate attempt to shake down a highly respected and successful athlete. Mr. Rose was in a non-exclusive, consensual sexual relationship with the plaintiff for over 2 years, and the plaintiff expressed no complaints until various lawyers began to surface and demand that she be paid millions of dollars. This is what they're allegedly saying is happening. Now, I'd be remiss to not mention more about the allegations here. Apparently, it was involved with Rose and 2 of his childhood friends, and there was apparently more people that came into Jane Doe's apartment, and there was a gang assault, I suppose, that is alleged here, where she was being in and out of consciousness. She was apparently intoxicated and drugged by the said parties. Yeah, it's one of those things that I think is obviously clouding the entire season of the Bulls now, because now Derrick Rose is coming in and having to answer for this stuff. Again, I'll try to explain more of it later, but I do want to get into more stuff that happened during this season. Now, this all came out during the 2015 offseason, rather. And Derrick Rose, he did say that these charges, he's going to use it as motivation. And he's going to fight those charges. He's not going to settle out of court or whatnot. He's going to try to fight those charges. Obviously, his lawyer is the one saying most of this.
I mean, I think y'all saw everything that was put out. I will be proven innocent. But at the same time, it hasn't affected anything. It's not true. I take it as motivation. I feel like the devil is just working. I feel like I'm on the right track as far as where I want to be at and in my life and the direction I want to go. And I just feel like when you're that focused, people try to take you down. So I'm very confident that I will be proven innocent.
Now, D Rose, he did say something that caught quite a lot of people's attention. It was quite interesting.
Weigh on you on a daily basis. Is this something that you just have, you moved on already mentally?
Oh yeah, I've been moved on. This whole summer I had tunnel vision. My mindset was just making sure that I was working out every day and spending as much time as possible with my son and focusing on them 2 things, making sure my family is financially stable. As far as you see all the money that they're passing out in this league, and just telling the truth.
I kid you not, when he said this, there's another angle that is filmed. You could see after he said this, Joakim just smiling and face palming. I've seen heard he knew this wasn't gonna end well.
And just knowing that my day will be coming up soon, and it's not for me, it's for PJ and his future. So that's what I'm thinking about right now.
You brought up your day will come as far as free agency and thinking about that. Are you looking forward to the process of testing the market, or when you talk about thinking about that, thinking about here and getting paid to stay here?
Here is here, but when you talk about that much money, only thing you could do is prepare for it. Trying to prepare not only myself but my family, and doing all this for my son. Like I said, I'm thinking about his future. Even though we're all right, we're comfortable. When you talk about that X amount of dollars, I think it raised everyone's eyebrows. So there's nothing wrong with being over prepared.
Well, in other news that is also not good news, D Rose also suffered a orbital fracture during practice. Oh boy. A triple whammy here. He gets accused of allegations here. Talks about how he's moving on from those, but then raises concerns that, he needs to get paid, and he's talking about free agency when his contract is like a year out. And then now he's injured 2 days after he made those weird comments. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long season.
When will this nightmare end? Damn!
When researching this vid, I found this gem from Flight Reacts. This is one of the funniest reactions to a obviously sad story. Apparently, he sustained this injury playing in practice, and Jimmy Butler was the one that had hit his face accidentally, obviously.
Why? 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 Why are you playing rough in practice? Damn, dude. God damn. Oh, shit, my neck.
One of the funniest videos I've seen this week. OG Fly still got, bro. OG Fly was a mood. For the amount of people that feel bad, there's always going to be that part of Twitter and social media that's going to make fun of you when stuff like this keeps happening. Like, you got some corny shit like, oh, Derrick Rose operation, guys. Look at all the injuries he has in this little fun board game we made. I don't like stuff like this. It's really stupid. Now, there's more and more doubt creeping in as to whether or not D Rose is even the more impactful player on the team. Apparently, according to on-off numbers, plus minus, Jimmy Butler may be way more impactful than Derrick Rose when it comes to winning games, I suppose. Oh boy. And there were people thinking, oh, Jimmy Butler, maybe he doesn't like D Rose so much. Maybe there's some He made sure to clear all that up. He said, look, I love having D Rose as a teammate. Oh, I see the Bulls have hired a familiar face. That guy that was at the lottery for Memphis. Yes, that's Fred Hoiberg. He's now the coach of this team.
See all the money that they're passing out in this league.
You see all the money they're passing out in this league. You have missed 280 games. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, this dude Colin, he was basically hating on D Rose the entire time throughout the last couple months here.
Derrick Rose is so overrated. Derrick Rose is a shoe salesman.
They made fun of the new slogan that he has on his new shoe, never break.
You're
never
joking.
Break. No, I am dead serious.
This is a parody.
I am dead serious.
Derrick Rose's shoe is never break.
Never break. I mean, I love Derrick Rose.
And boy, I get it, man. He started the season off poorly, missing threes, and obviously Colin making fun of him for it.
Derrick Rose is the most overrated player in the last decade in this league. He is the classic sports car. Lousy mileage, breaks down, hard to fix.
Even the producers, man, they know weekly this guy bashes him. But okay, enough of this dude.
Derrick Rose is another story.
Oh my gosh, don't do that to Derrick Rose. Do we have to start?
What the hell is going on? I said enough. What the? God, do I have an internal talk with my team? Like, it's only me working, and yet I can't figure out what these clips are going on. Okay, I think I've got stuff figured out. Derrick Rose is playing with a mask because obviously the orbital fracture in his face, which is still affecting him months later. It says here that he could have blurry vision for up to 3 months.
Are you still having double vision issues? Yeah. Is it blurry vision or double vision? Double. It's not blurry about it. It's double for real. So they said that in a couple of weeks it'll go down or go away. I'm just waiting patiently.
Well, he's saying it's double vision, but others are saying it could be blurry later on, which is interesting. Now, Rose did also say, once I catch that rhythm, it's going to be scary. Oh, yes. As of now, though, he recently sprained his ankle, and he's been 19 for 70 since returning from that sprained ankle. He hasn't been so good. Now, this Bulls team, they weren't so good this season, but we'll get more to that later in the video. Because D Rose, he's hurt yet again, this time with a left patellar tendonitis. I'm learning new words every time I make a video like this.
Over 50%, that's what makes it.
Wow, Rose to the basket, draws the foul. Well, that was vintage Derrick Rose.
He was an MVP 4 years prior. How you call this vintage already? Yo, this is sad. This is the 2016 Warriors, so you're not going to beat that team.
Crosses the 8-second line. Butler a drive. And then the kick. Rose for three. Go! Bingo! Bingo!
And look, despite all the talk, this has been Derrick Rose's healthiest season in a long time. This was obviously the last game against Kobe Bryant before he retired. And Kobe did say that Derrick Rose is at the point in his career where he has to adjust his game. And I think it seems like he's doing that pretty well. You look at the per month basis every month during the season, his points per game averages have been going up. Not just that, his efficiency's gone up. And he's shooting more. Not just that, but he's more efficient in March than he was prior to the season. Like, this guy is improving month by month. It's good. Now, even though he's attempting less free throws overall this season and not less threes as a whole, he is seemingly more effective when he is attempting those shots.
And 4 different head coaches. Rose, reverse! Oh, beauty from Derrick Rose.
This team couldn't even beat the freaking Knicks. They were fighting for the 8th seed in the East. And guess what? They didn't make the playoffs. The Detroit Pistons and the Pacers made it, not the Bulls.
Derrick, you'll be 29 when this contract ends. Can you think of playing for another team other than the Bulls?
I don't think so, unless they trade me or something. Unless they trade me.
That ain't happening.
I would want to finish my career here, but we'll have to see.
During that offseason in 2016, there were rumors swirling that Derrick Rose was going to be traded to the Knicks. And as he was filming his documentary, something crazy happened.
What's up, B? You lying. You serious?
For his time in Chicago to end like that, after all the great moments, after all the crazy years, it's crazy. Now Rose would have to pack his bags and head on to the Big Apple.
I don't know why I was traded, but I would like to tell him thank you. Thank you. For real. Chicago is more than just like a home. Like it grew me into the man I am today. And that's one of the reasons why I changed my number to 25. I'm playing in New York, but I want to bring something from Chicago with me.
During the past season, he was getting a lot of criticism from the media, regardless of what he did. It felt like he couldn't do anything right. And this move to New York felt like a fresh start. You got the Bulls, obviously. They're looking to rebuild. They're seeing that things aren't looking so good, so they're going to end the Rose era on a very sour note, obviously. Even Butler got traded to Minnesota. And it's one of those things, like, they were going on a different direction.
That smile, I ain't seen that in a long time. I ain't seen that, Randall. I ain't seen that since 08. I ain't seen that since 08. And I ain't seen somebody talk about going out there and doing your thing.
All right, now to talk about the disturbing case, obviously. This was a matter of consent. A lot of people were obviously talking about this during the time in 2016. The trial did conclude with D. Rose and two of his closest friends being cleared of any liability in the civil case.
Derrick, going through something like this, has it changed you at all?
I mean, it would change anyone, but like I said, I spoke on it. And this is all behind me now. Like, that's the past now. Only thing I can focus on and worry about is the future.
Not only was he cleared of the case, but when Jane Doe appealed its ruling, Court of District 9 affirmed this decision on all points. It really did seem like Derrick Rose moved on, and he was looking forward to the Knicks experience.
As far as, like, putting an expectation or trying to see or trying to find out how many games I play a year, there's no point in doing that. I don't want to jinx myself.
Now, this won't be the last you'll hear about the case, but as far as it being cleared, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbow. The trial reportedly was messy. Apparently, the defense lawyer tarred the woman as a liar who tried to sway jurors through her tears to get at Rose's fortunes. Interesting way to put it. And on the other side, the woman's lawyer called the men sexual deviants and said they conspired to do that to her, and after she was intoxicated and incapable of consenting to sex. I like this new Anchorman voice that I got, man. It's good.
Derrick Rose says his new team, the Knicks, are a powerhouse. Rose discussed the expectations for New York this season with NBA.com, saying, quote, "They're high. I mean, with these teams right now, they're saying us and Golden State are the super teams, and they're not trying to build that many super teams."
Is this brother serious? Yo, they were not a good team last season. And just adding you and Joakim Noah isn't gonna make y'all an automatic, oh, you got Brandon Jennings and Courtney Lee, I'm scared. And then he responded to all the backlash saying, I still believe that, like I said with that super team term, you have to be very careful, I guess, if you're in the United States. Our super team, bro? Are you serious? Oh my god. He really said the Knicks are a super team, bro. In his first game back in Chicago, you heard some boos with the cheers. Wow. I see some fans are still not happy about how things ended up. Oh boy, what a woo. It's one of those things that you know, a lot of the fans in Chicago just felt like Derrick Rose wasn't committed, like I said earlier in the video. But it wasn't all fans. You heard the cheers. There were definitely a large group of fans that, despite everything that happened, they were still loving Derrick Rose the way he was, regardless.
Jennings to Rose. Rose drives, layup, banks it in.
And the Knicks also were the winners of this game in Chicago. Nice. Now, the architect of this team, Phil Jackson, let's just say it. This was terrible, a terrible architect. But I don't know if Phil Jackson even could have predicted what would happen in January of that year.
Because the Knicks have frankly been put in a very bad spot by Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose went AWOL.
Everything changed just before tip-off for the Knicks when they announced tonight that Derrick Rose wasn't starting, and that was just the beginning of the mystery. It continues to be really the big unknown. His whereabouts are currently a mystery.
Yeah, it turns out he just didn't show up. He didn't show up for the Pelicans game. He didn't show up.
You're one of the closest guys to him here. Have you been in touch with him? Is everything okay?
Yeah. Everything is okay. Yeah, he's okay. So I texted with him, and he just said, look, I'm okay. I'm with my mom. And I get it. It was just like a very stressful time. You just don't have time to digest anything because the games just keep coming. We saw Derrick in practice the next day, and he just apologized to the team, and we moved on.
That was a family issue. For one, it had nothing to do with the team or basketball, but that's the first time I ever felt like that emotionally, and I had to be with my family.
He went as far as to go back to Chicago to his mother, right? He was apparently going through it. He woke up one morning doing shoot-arounds, and he was like, oh, I gotta go. I can't do this.
I was heading back home. I was talking to my mom, and I still didn't think I was gonna leave until I got dropped off. I went up to my apartment. I was talking on the phone for about an hour, 2 hours. Then I hopped on the plane. I just had to talk to my mom. Like, it was a lot going on.
He was probably homesick, but look, I can't blame him. I think the one thing people did say was, oh, you should at least let the team know. And that's definitely a valid point. But again, sometimes things like these come up, right? We're humans. Things don't happen the way we expect them to oftentimes.
Here's Rose. Derrick Rose with the shot clock winding down. Now with 30.
That's a big win against a good Boston Celtics team. He would have these games where he'd score 30 points, right? 28 points in this game against the Warriors. Like, he was still putting up some numbers. But there was a problem, folks. He had tore his meniscus yet again, but this time on his left knee, and he would have to miss the remainder of the season. God, I get sick of saying this every time, bro. And let's just say the Knicks were not even a playoff team to begin with. They were bottom of the East. I suppose James Dolan thought they had a super team as well, and he got Derrick Rose to be hip on that. They were both wrong, I guess. During this season, you even had the owner going back at a fan. Just a disaster season. Now, there was a silver lining in that Derrick Rose still had a lot of supporters. A lot of them also coming from China.
I love you, Rose, and I hope you have a good day in Cleveland.
Tell you.
Okay.
I need to cry,
Also, I don't know why that dude spoiled it, but yeah, he's in Cleveland now. He signed there after the Knicks, obviously, just didn't want to extend with him. He's teamed up with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Isaiah Thomas from Boston.
How did it come together? You had your options around the league. How did it come that you ended up with the Cavs?
Talked to my agent. My agent reached out to Ty Lue, and after that, they got it done right away. I guess you know how things go here. It goes pretty quick, and right when the word got out, that's when Kobe was calling, and everybody was getting situated.
He signed a one-year, $2.1 million deal, and he vowed to get paid double next time around.
Get a chance to reintroduce myself back to the league. I get to bet on myself. That was one of the reasons why I came here. I get to bet on myself. And I'm from Chicago. I got that hustling side. It's in me, man. Next time you pay me, you got to pay me double, so it's fine with me.
Early in the season, and it's Derrick Rose already hurting himself here in the ankle. Oh, boy.
How's the ankle?
It's a sprain, but it is what it is. Nothing I could do about that. Took me out the air and kind of twisted my ankle when I came down. So. And
Derrick Rose later in the season also left again. This time for personal matter yet again, just like he did in the Knicks. At least this time he let the team know before leaving. But apparently this is about all the injuries and all the things that have taken a toll on him mentally recently. It's obviously sad to see, right? A star player, a superstar player at the time, and then the injuries just taking a toll on him, both mentally and physically.
Should the Cavs want Rose back?
Nah, they shouldn't. I think that, it's one of those situations where you have to be concerned about the person.
Damn, you shouldn't want him back at all? That's tough. That's tough to hear.
Can you tell us what you told the guys when you came back?
Just told them that I apologize for my actions, but I would like to say thanks to the whole franchise, Kobe, the front office, the players, the coaches, coaching staff. I'd like to say thank you for allowing me my privacy to keep my right state of mind and to keep my happiness.
Now, around this time, reportedly, the Cavs players were not even getting along with each other, right? You had D-Wade and Isaiah Thomas in the players' meeting. I think a lot of people know about that story. Shannon Sharp said something funny, though, in this segment that I do want to highlight.
Hey, didn't Isaiah Thomas get on Kevin Love? D. Rose left with a fade, came back with dreads, and married.
No, and I got to tell you.
Is that true?
Yes. I half joke.
Apparently, this dude left the Cavs to get married secretly with his... What? There's no way, bro. There's no way. Now, since that ankle injury earlier in the season, he basically missed 14 plus games because of it. And then he left for that. I don't know why. Either he got married, either he was trying to figure out his future, whatever. Now, the Washington Post put out an article basically saying that D. Rose and D. Wade were hurting the team more than helping. And it's looking at D. Rose's value on the court per VORP. Oh, nice. And I'm not surprised that his value is dwindling by the year. I'm not surprised. I mean, he's not asked to do as much as he used to be. Some of the memorable moments during this season with the Cavs was apparently D. Rose having to go to the bathroom frequently between games. So much so that Ty Lue basically had to talk about it in the presser. And thankfully for everyone involved, they separated ways. Derrick Rose gets traded to the Jazz.
I can't believe we traded Rodney Hood for Jay Crowder and Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose sucks.
We're waiving Derrick Rose. He's not going to play on the Jazz.
Good. He's no good. If it was like 2012, I'd be happy. He sucks.
Well, fortunately for that guy, yeah, they ended up waiving him, and he would go to Minnesota back with Tom Thibodeau, back again with Tibbs, yay. Let's just say there were a lot of familiar faces in Minnesota. Looked like a Chicago Bulls reunion of sorts. And look at this, after signing with the Wolves, the same day he's on the court practicing. Like, this guy's quick, man, he's fast.
Charles has been there. I've been there. Unfortunately, Derrick Rose is not the Derrick Rose of past. He's at the end of his career. He is playing on a good team, so hopefully he can
be a good locker room guy.
Yeah.
Because hopefully, they got a very young team. He can be a good locker room guy. But listen, I like Derrick Rose, but it's over.
He averaged 18 points a game last year.
That was last year, kid.
Right. This is only, 365 days ago.
Yeah. A lot of happened.
So if he can give me, if he can give me 9 to 11.
Let me tell you something. A year ago, you were 52.
And I was actually fatter. And I lost some weight, so I got better.
He's 53 today.
This is wholesome moment with him playing with his son. Look, man, he's back on the team with a coach he's familiar with. Some players he's familiar with, Jimmy Butler, namely, Taj Gibson. Look, man, hopefully he's going to be a good backup to, I think Jeff Teague's starting. I don't even know, bro. Now, he also let the people in the media, namely Nick Friedel, know that he doesn't need anybody's effing validation. He knows who he is. I know what type of player I am, he says. Interesting. I like this type of mentality, D. Rose.
Can't just trade buckets with the Rockets. Got to keep getting stops. Rose. How beautiful was that?
I'm not going to lie. Why is this video calling this vintage dunk from Derrick? It's just a regular dunk. What the hell? In the playoff series against the Rockets, he would put up some numbers. So his 14 points per game through 5 games, not that big, not that notable to really point out. He's a backup to Jeff Teague, bro. Also, the Rockets beat them in 5, so what the hell is there to say, bro?
As a Bulls fan, what did you think of kind of the rise and fall, like what happened with Derrick, and seeing how high he went and then kind of how low things got? How did you look at it from afar?
I mean, Derrick had no lows. He didn't, because he still maintained. And, Derrick is a legend, no matter what. Like, I don't like how you explain that.
I meant like just how the injuries and stuff. I didn't.
No rise and falls. Injuries is a part of life. Everybody has an injury. you know, either athletics or normal life. But Derrick is, you know, he's one of the best players that ever played a game and one of the best icons in Chicago. So he accomplished his duty already.
Now, if you're from Chicago, especially from Englewood, you will not be surprised at what Jabari Parker said here. He is from that community, and he went to Simeon, and he looked at Derrick Rose as an inspiration back then as well. And I think you could sense the divide in Chicago by really separating the two fan bases here. Let's just say the upper middle class white fans were the ones hating on D Rose, the media likely as well. And many in the lower class who are also black, they were rocking with D Rose no matter what. They had that same feeling about him. They had that feeling that everything he accomplished in Chicago was just a cherry on top of what an illustrious career he had. And it makes sense from Jabari's perspective. There is no lows with D Rose because he had already lived through the lows earlier in his life. Everything else down to him getting drafted right until now is only up from here, really. Derrick Rose, he was someone that was actively involved in the community as well. There was one time, there was a young 14-year-old girl that got shot and killed in Chicago. He had attended the funeral. He didn't need to do that, but he had done so to really show the community that he was actively involved, that he was part of the community, really.
It's emotional just being here, knowing where I came from, 2 blocks away from here. If it weren't for you all, I wouldn't be here before you. Thank you, and I appreciate you all.
Seeing him paying for people's funerals, just being a part of the city still. He's there for everybody.
Derrick Rose! He was everything to Chicagoans. He was everything to Southsiders. Kids that wanted to go to the NBA out of Chicago now had an example and a blueprint on how it could be done.
Are there any Simeon players in the great lineage and history you look up to, role models?
Oh, Derrick Rose. I look up to that man so much.
Me being that 6th grade kid and eager to be in the gym with Derrick and be around greatness, just those little memories is what helped me be the person that I am and helped my hoop dreams and inspired me to go to Simeon and to be like him. That's my hero.
Now you can see Antoine Griezmann.
It's going to be in English, Antoine. It's going to be English. You're under pressure.
I love Derrick Rose.
That's a very valid point.
Antoine Griezmann in yet another 2-point video. Yo, what is happening here? Hey, Chuck and Shaq, hear this. Cat apparently says he saw glimpses of MVP D Rose. Oh, wow. And in this game against the Jazz, I think Carl was right, man. He might have seen it. Because we all saw it too on that night, October 31st, 2018.
A lot of dribbling. The stop, the go, the finish. 46 for Rose. Rose gets inside, puts up a tough shot, and hits it anyway. 50. A half a century for Derrick Rose here.
Have a game like this, 50 points against a good team.
Crowder, 3, no long rebound, tracked down by...
This is still a 3-point game, and you still need to guard out there. And look who comes up with a defensive play here.
Drop another rebound. Exum has it blocked in the corner by who else? Derrick, 2011 MVP, Rose.
They all know what this means to him. They know what he's lost and now what he's trying to find. What a great moment for Derrick Rose.
This dude really put up 50 points in the game. That's his career high in all games. Wow.
What does it mean to you, Derrick?
Man, everything, man. I worked my ass off, bro.
Just an emotional night. I think everybody in the world was just looking at this game. So happy to see Derrick Rose just come back to his own here.
What can you say about Derrick and what he was able to give you tonight?
Well, I mean, you're just happy for him because this guy has been through a lot. And I think he's having a great season for us. This is the first year in 5 years he didn't have to go through rehab in the summer. I know the person that he is, the character that he has, and it shines through.
Like really, like the whole world had to have just been happy. Nothing for positive. Like I'm not gonna lie, Twitter might have been the most positive it's ever been after this game.
Even when a superhero is knocked down, he's still a superhero at the end of the day. And Derrick Rose showed why he's still a superhero.
Like how exactly can you be mad at this? Or how can you be unhappy about this? I wonder. Okay, what the hell am I seeing here? Derrick Rose drops 50 points on the Jazz, sparking mixed reactions. Who's mixed about this?
It is a cloudy situation, obviously, in terms of the way that people respond to this, because that chilling deposition stays in our minds.
Yes.
It's hard to ignore it if you saw it in the first place.
There was scathing articles about how Derrick Rose did not overcome his allegations, even though he had been cleared by a jury 2 years prior. The case deposition came out, and there were some things that were quite disturbing, according to many.
As long as I've known you, you've always said you don't need validation from anybody.
No.
Does it bother you at all that there are people out there who will never be able to cheer for you again because of what came out in the case?
Yeah, but to each his own. That's how I feel about it. Everybody's not going to like me. Everybody's not going to love the way I play. Everybody's not going to like every decision that I make. And I know that through life, period, where I'm older, I'm 30, and I'm not the emotional kid anymore. Like, I'm a grown-ass man.
And D. Rose admitted it's weird being back in this building as a visitor. Of course, he did it once with New York, but tonight he bought 50 tickets and joked that was on the light side. He wished he could have brought the whole neighborhood.
I think this was the second time he's been in Chicago since he got traded.
Goes right at Derrick Rose, and everybody here at United Center chanting MVP.
chant. First free throw for Derrick. I think that was a smile, too.
Very cool to see that he had chance for MVP, man. Seems like Chicago's healing. During this season, there wasn't that much to note, but he had some interesting games here.
Rose looks to go. 2 seconds. Rose off balance. It doesn't matter because he drilled it.
This was 2 of 29 points he had in the second half. Beautiful stuff. Besides this being a season where he averaged 18 points for the first time since 2016, he was also being talked about as a heavy candidate for Sixth Man of the Year and MIP as well. Apparently, people were saying that he should have been an All-Star this season too. What? Now, Derrick Rose, he did talk about the All-Star voting because some people thought he should have had votes for the All-Star game in 2019. He said himself, and I quote, "I don't sell myself to people. It's not me. That's not my character. I don't have an Instagram. I don't have any of that. It comes from me being in people's minds for some reason and people really caring." He has a point there. He has a point. And Derrick Rose, he was such a pivotal character in the NBA mind. Like, he's second place amongst guards in fan voting. Like, this guy, he's over guys like Harden, Westbrook, Clay, Dame, DeMar. It's actually insane, bro.
What has that meant for you and your resurgence and kind of everything?
Like I said, he was the only coach that believed in me. Like, right when I got the call, I was in Cleveland.
He basically said he was out the league, and Tom Thibodeau was the one coach that called him and said, "Hey, man, come up and play for my team."
Even coming here, yeah, like, everybody didn't know I was going to play this way. Like, he believed in me. I believed in myself. My family believed in me. And my little guy, Art, believed in me. And we got it done. And like I said, for everybody that think that I'm not going to play the same way, kill yourself.
Whoa, what? Yo, that went left real quick. What in the world? Now, unfortunately, he did have to go and get surgery on his right elbow. And that will obviously end his season prematurely in March. And Timberwolves, basically, there were a bunch of injuries. Jeff Teague was hurt. He re-aggravated a left foot injury. And then you have Robert Covington, who got traded in the Jimmy Butler trade. Yes, he got traded from Minnesota. He hadn't played since he injured his knee on December 31st. And so the team ended the season not really making the playoffs. So there's really nothing else to know.
Yeah, but... yeah, I'm not going to put a number on it, but like I said earlier in the interview, that the day that I can't change a game, that's when I know, like, it's time to hang it up. Like,
and based on this season that he just had, there's a lot left in the gas. I mean, he averaged 18 points in less than 28 minutes played per game, right? This guy is putting up numbers that are pretty close to his MVP numbers when you factor in per 36 minutes, right? Plus, he shot more than 2 threes a game instead of shooting less than 1 last season, and shot them at a clip that is above average. Now, Derrick Rose, he was in the locker rooms. He saw the Jimmy Butler and Cat antagonization, the relationship being fractured, and he said something that was quite interesting about the whole situation.
Look, it wasn't his fault. It's the league's fault. Nothing against Karl Anthony Towns. He's cool, and he's good. But you get these kids and you spoil them before they achieve something.
I get it from D Rose's perspective, right? This guy Cat got a 5-year, $190 million supermax in 2018. And obviously that's what kicked off a lot of the rumors that Jimmy Butler was getting traded because, you know, what is Jimmy Butler getting? And Jimmy Butler was looking for an extension too. And these guys, D Rose, Jimmy Butler, Tom, they're from a different era, right? They saw contracts that were upwards of 5 years, $95 million in the case of D Rose. Like, the contracts weren't as crazy as they are today. Well, after Minnesota fired their team president and coach, Tom Thibodeau, in January of 2019, let's just say D Rose was not going to stay on the team long term.
One of the reasons why I wanted to come here is because of the depth of the team. We have a very long team. I think you can switch anything, we're versatile. Of course, with Blake Drummond. And I mean, the big dynamic is huge here. And being in the East, I feel like you never know what can happen. So that's one of the decisions why, one of the reasons why I decided to come here, along with the coaching staff, along with Arn Tellem. He was my agent before he took the job. And the last couple of years, he's been mentioning things here and there, not directly, but just hear it and start from there.
Interesting. D Rose is a Pistons. It's going to take some time to get used to. I'm glad to see more Chicagoans are standing up and cheering for him. I'm not hearing the boos anymore. That's good.
Brief wave from Derrick to acknowledge the crowd.
And what
yes,
they're yelling,
he was an MVP.
I was about to say, what they're yelling right now is a fact.
In this third game, returning home, he dropped 23 points and 7 assists. Now, Derrick Rose, he was asked whether or not he would want to retire in Chicago at one point.
Could you see yourself at least at some point before it's all over, coming back here and playing?
You probably got to ask Jerry about that. That's all that's out of my hands, bro.
In this one season he had with the Pistons, he improved from his previous season in Minnesota, so much so that there were legit videos like these saying, is Derrick Rose back to MVP form? Another one was made called The Rebirth of D Rose. And both these videos talk about some interesting facts about how D Rose apparently is top 6 in isolation stats is this year. That's interesting. Not just that, but according to some people, they're saying that his per 36 in the Pistons last season was actually better than his MVP per 36. And for the amount of minutes he played, his points per game was actually pretty impressive. And they got better the following season when he was a Piston. Seeing that his per 36 numbers are better than MVP D Rose's per 36 is quite stunning.
First free throw attempt. Yeah, team's trying to defend him. Hey, they're chanting MVP again here in the building.
The Pistons fans chanting it too. This is insane. Now, Stephen A, he brought up to D Rose the conversation whether or not he's a Hall of Fame player. And D Rose, he had some interesting thoughts about this.
To talk on the Hall of Fame thing, I am a Hall of Famer in everybody's eyes, but to the people that I grew up with, like I made it, I executed, I got to where I was at. I've been having these same expectations I have now. They were thrown on me in 6th grade. I achieved all that. I got through all that.
And so far, history is on his side. You see that MVP trophy right there? So far, there has never been an MVP player that hasn't made the Hall of Fame. So, according to those historical stats, I don't know. D Rose might make it just off of the fact that he got an MVP. But you're seeing some of the names here. If D Rose retires a bit later, it might get tricky for him. I'm just saying.
Derrick with the drive. Over Holiday, hits it as time runs out.
These are the sort of things that'll put you in the conversation for Hall of Fame. I'll say that much.
What's it feel like when obviously you got the basketball in your hands? You're used to these situations in clutch time, but what's the feeling there on that final possession?
Excuse my English, bro. I'm born to do this shit.
Oh, I like this from D Rose. The confidence is just oozing. And like I said, man, he was putting up numbers that a lot of people are like, damn, for a bench player, it's pretty impressive.
No. Look at this. Do you want a picture of this?
That's actually dope as hell, bro. I had to show this. This is cool.
But then going to Chicago and playing against Derrick Rose during that time, man, I was like, bro, like I played with a lot of great players. Derrick Rose during that time, was probably the most talented player I ever played with.
You tell me Rip Hamilton, a guy that played during the 04 Pistons days, this guy saying Derrick Rose, most talented player he's ever played with pre-injury? That's crazy. And then the following season, he would go play for the New York Knicks, and he's back for the third time with his coach, Tom Thibodeau. You could see him right there with the mask and everything. Yeah, 2020 was a weird time. And Tibbs, he said in the presser that, D. Rose had grown, and just to see that growth throughout the years is something that he really just enjoys.
And I think that's, one of the best parts of coaching, as you get to know people over a long period of time. You appreciate all the things that they bring. We have great trust in each other. I think we've always been truthful with each other, and I think that's helped us build that trust. But he has a lot of deposits. Actually, obviously with all the things that he's done on all the teams that I've been with, I wouldn't be in this position today without him.
This season was one of the weird ones. It was during the 2021 season. He had a decent season. Now, his scoring was obviously regressing a little bit, but you still saw that flash of D. Rose of the past. So much so, in fact, that D. Rose got a first place MVP vote. I don't know how that's possible because he wasn't even close to the conversation, but he somehow got a first place MVP vote. And thankfully, I can look up who voted for who in the MVP ballots. Thank God. Thank you, NBA Communications, for this. All right, I got the PDF pulled up here. Let's Control F and see if Derrick Rose's name is on. Wait, who's this? Fan vote? NBA fan vote? We don't even know who voted for him. It's just a fan vote? Are we serious right now? Bro, what the hell? Like, the fans voted for this? Really? This gotta be one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. Should have just read this tweet that said it. The first place vote for Derrick Rose was a cumulative fan vote for the MVP award rather than a media member. Fans trolling again. Oh boy, oh boy. Respectfully, D. Rose, you had no business even being in the conversation. And I think D. Rose even knows that. Well, the Knicks did make the playoffs, and Derrick Rose was a pivotal part of it. And they're playing the Hawks in the first round. And let's just say things got intense in this first game.
Here is Young. Finds his spot. Young on the floater. Puts it in.
And look at Trey here, shushing the crowd. He was public enemy #1 at the Garden. He also gave the little ice cold. Oh, he's ice cold for sure. And Derrick Rose, he's an old school guy, and he gave his thoughts on Trae Young trash talking in the game.
As far as Trae Young, fans didn't necessarily take to his persona, the way he was playing, the way he was shushing the crowd, his post-game comments, and he's picked up this label as villain now in the media these last few days. But, you on the court and your experience, how do you view a player like that when they have this sort of persona on your home court?
That's basketball. Like when the league got so soft, bro, like that's basketball, man.
Again, bro, this guy, he's from a different era, bro. He doesn't understand why this league is soft.
I mean, that's what I'm used to. I've been in series where drinks were thrown on like parents, like people's moms, and like you on the court and you seen your mom get a beer like splashed on, like that's the environment I'm used to, and now it's a little different. So that's all part of the game. When you got both sides fighting for something, and you've been working your butt off all year, and not all year, but summertime when nobody's watching, you in the gym, working on your game, and you seeing the results of it, and not only in the regular season but in the playoffs. And if you want to talk shit, talk shit.
And boy, in the next game, D. Rose would show up.
Randall's playing hard despite not scoring. He is racking up big rebound numbers. He's got 8. Oh, Derrick Rose. There's Capella, though. And now Rose for 3. And he hits it. They were down 15 in the second quarter. It's Rose, a little mid-range. He won of the Hawks' final 24 points in game 1. Here's Bullock, another chance. Rose with Randall. Gets the switch. Collins on him. Bogdanovich helps. Rose recovers and scores. Down low. What a game. Knicks lead by 7. Approaching the 1-minute mark. The Euro step. Randall gets to his strong.
He scored a team-high 26 points and was pivotal in them winning this game, too.
Derek Scheck here. Not a lot of experience on the team. Not a lot of guys used to playing under the bright lights of New York City. With you being a veteran, what do you say to Julius Randle? Really hasn't played up to his potential the same potential that helped him get the award. You guys to split, but as a veteran, what do you say to Julius Randle to calm him down, to get him back going again?
Oh, it's his first series, so it's all about just getting the nerves out, butterflies out. And tonight, late in the game, he got that confidence. So it's about just playing. Whenever it's going to be your first time, you're a novice to it, so you don't know. So it's my job to come in, try to play aggressive, take the pressure off of him. They double him every time you get the ball early, so he got to find ways to read the game, move around so he can get the ball. And it's his first time, bro. So it's my job to try to calm that down.
Julius Randle, he's supposed to be their best player. He actually was the most improved player this year. He won the award. He was #1 in points per game in New York. He averaged 24 points per game, 10 plus rebounds, 6 plus assists. And not only was an all-star, but he was all-NBA second team. This was a career year. And even with that, D Rose came in and he said, look, it's his first series. Let's give him a break. And that's what veterans do. I love to see it, man. D Rose just chipping in and helping him out.
My basketball takeaway was Derrick Rose. This is the most minutes and the most points Derrick Rose has scored in a playoff game since Bulls-Cavs in 2015. He started the second half for the Knicks. It's what flipped the game. They were down 13 at halftime, and their offense looked impossibly bad because the Hawks have a wonderful plan for Julius Randle, who's had a really rough go his first two.
And this was a series that obviously the Hawks won in 5. And Trae Young, he was just being the biggest villain in the Madison Square Garden. Public enemy #1.
Suck my dick, Trae Young! Suck my dick! Fuck Trae Young!
If I play the rest of this video, I'm not gonna lie, YouTube might take it down.
Trae Young looks like my dad's dick! I never saw my dad's dick! He still looks like shit!
I won't take my... So I won't... Bro, what? What is this? Yeah, Dubious Julius, Dubious Handles, all the nicknames that were given during this time. The worst series ever from a playoff MIP. Like, this guy was coined the biggest playoff dropper of all time because of this series and multiple things after that. It's one of those things. This guy led the team in scoring during the season, and Derrick Rose was the one leading them in scoring in the playoffs. Julius Randle shot under 30% from the field. Shit is embarrassing, bro. And D Rose was the one scoring 47% from 3 on over 3 threes a game. Bro, this is insane. Even RJ Barrett didn't play so good. Like, bro, he had to carry them, it felt like. So although Dubious Julius or Fulius, whatever the hell you want to call him, although he didn't have a good playoff series, it's one of those things. D Rose, he was a veteran. He was trying to help him out. He did what he had to do. W veteran, W veteran.
Rose now checking in. Taj Gibson, 2 of the former great Bulls.
I love how as the years pass by, the crowd shows more and more love to D Rose. It's one of those things. His numbers started to regress up to this point severely, averaging less minutes than at any point in his career except for 2018 when obviously he was going through it. But he also averaged the less points in his career other than 2018.
He did it in Chicago, significant, as in his 3rd year. Once upon a time in Chicago, in his 3rd year, Derrick Rose was the MVP of the league. And that's the guy this guy reminds you of, right?
Derrick Rose's career is so iconic. You got now players being compared to him. Ja Morant here scoring 46 points against the Bulls and hit this 360 layup. It was insane.
What I'm about to say, nobody is going to like. So just get used to that. Fasten your seatbelt. I like Ja Morant. I think he's sensational. I think he's...
So I guess Colin found his new target now. Oh, boy.
Flashy point guards are running quarterbacks. Fans and media get obsessed by highlights. Watch the games.
Oh, no, not the running quarterback trope. Oh, no. I hate black people. I hate black... That's basically what I hear when he talks. I'm sorry.
And number 4,
some great leather clothes. Shout out to Barbara Bates back in the day.
This guy comes in, he plays his minutes, and they're chanting MVP. Yo, the Bulls fans, they're loving him even more than they did in 2016. It's healing. Chicago's healing.
The Knicks have declined Derrick Rose's
team option for next season worth around $16 million.
In a twist of fate that is quite interesting, he would go and sign with the Memphis Grizzlies and be a mentor for Ja Morant, who was obviously struggling around this time. But as we know now, and is the main reason I'm making this video, he obviously recently announced that he was going to retire from the game of basketball. And so now this brings me to the end of the video, where I'm going to thank everyone for watching for this long. It's a long video. I didn't expect it for it to be this long, I'll be honest. I know I say this after every video, but this one was quite interesting to make. I will say this was the toughest video to make in terms of the topics I've had to discuss here.
Oh yeah, shout out to Pudini. Huge shout out to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Derrick Rose. You know, it's not like he's leaving the game forever. I think it's about time that he got his flowers, and he took full control over his career of just how it was for him.
I leave this video feeling similarly to how I felt when I covered Kyrie in that long video that obviously did so well. And personally, the reason why that's like a big thing for me is because I remember that video. I felt like it was one of those videos that I did a great job on. But for the D-Rose video, I'm in a different place mentally. I'm in a place where I'm struggling to get more of these videos out more often because, quite frankly, I'm realizing the scope of the videos that I'm covering and just the amount of eyeballs that people that are viewing this video. I can't fuck up. I really can't fuck up.
To my baby Pooh, you have always had a basketball in your hand ever since the age of 2.
When I first decided to start researching for this video, it was hard because I didn't want to fuck up this video like I fucked up videos in the past. And I honestly think the Ja Morant video I did, I fucked up because of the way I packaged it and all. And I was really just feeling imposter syndrome after I did the Kyrie video and after all the other videos I did. And I'm like, oh, it's not measuring up to what I did with the Kyrie video. Now, why am I talking about this is because this video, it feels like it's one of those videos that I'm trying to get back to what I used to do, which is really just trying to cover these players and like the least biased way I can. There's going to be biases involved, obviously. I did spew my opinions here and there. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. But my hope is that enough people watch this to where they find value in it. That's always what I'm trying to provide at the end of the day. Value over quantity, not quality. Quality is what I want in these videos. I think so much of what I used to do, I didn't care as much about how people would receive it. And I didn't take myself as seriously as I do now because I'm realizing there's a lot of people watching my videos now. And now it's making me think, okay, I can't fuck up. And it's where, I don't know, man. Should I even be saying all this? It might get cut out by the editor, who knows. But this is part of the reason I've struggled to upload videos I'd say the last 9 months. It's one of the reasons I've been on and off. You could see me, my schedule being a bit hectic. It was weird. And this is not the only video I've been working on during this hiatus between the Clippers video and now. There's another video coming up that I think might actually be a bigger project than I anticipated. I hope you guys enjoy not just this video, but the upcoming videos. I'll try to be more consistent. I'm not sure if I'll be able to. I hope you guys came away with this story, learning a lot of new things, not just that, but, you know, this being a closure to the career of Derrick Rose. Look, a lot of people, they don't like him for some of the things he's done in his career. A lot of people, they think he's, well, I won't say it. I'll just let the other people say it. But yeah, I feel like I got to end the video on a high note, so I'll let D-Rose end it for me.
As far as your basketball legacy goes, yeah, what would you like it to be?
Just simple that I was a dog.